Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you like my content, be sure to like and subscribe. Joking. Okay, so first things first, just a couple of clarifications from my last post. The post I was reading from, or the part I was reading from, was by Leonard E. Reisman, president of the John Jay College of Criminal Justice. He just wrote the foreword, so just a little clarification there. Also, my lovely fiance Austin said, shame on me for reading. The text says Magna Charta, okay? And he asked if I was ordering a Starbucks drink. I was not. The correct name is Magna Carta. Okay, moving on. So, some of you, well, one of you, thank you to them. But everyone else, I hope maybe you'd be interested in hearing a little more. Chapter 1, the Policeman and Preliminary Criminal Procedures. The central issue of our time appears to be the increasing conflict between the assertion of authority and the maintenance of individual freedom. Dr. Sigmund Freud posed this problem in psychoanalytic terms as one of the major discontents of civilization. It is important that the citizen be concerned about charges of police brutality, forced confessions, failure to be represented by a lawyer, and violation of the rights of minority groups. Crime in the streets projects a terrifying picture in the 20th century America. The President of the United States, in his message to Congress of March 8, 1965, stated, "Crime is in America's midst. Since 1940, the crime rate has doubled. It has increased 5 times as fast as our population since 1958. It may well be that this widespread fear is disproportionate to the realistic situation. It is possible that an analysis in depth of the statistics on crime would show a more encouraging, or at least a less discouraging, picture. Furthermore, it is certain that the vast panoply of officialdom, the judges, legislators, prosecutors, police, all those engaged in the business of law and order are not going soft on crime. Why, then, is there heard the hue and cry for stricter enforcement of the law? It has been urged that the threat of an overwhelming crime wave is not a sufficient explanation. One suspects that the emphasis on law enforcement may be occasioned by a sense of guilt with respect to evasion of legal structures. We are also becoming increasingly insecure in a world in which conventions, moral codes, and rules of law no longer seem to apply as they did in those halcyon days of peace and serenity enjoyed by our fathers, or did they ever exist? It is interesting to note that psychologically, the call for stricter law enforcement seems to spring from the same sources as do the attacks on civil liberty that are heard from time to time. I'm going to take a pause there for a minute. Just reminds me a little bit of, call for stricter law enforcement on attacks on civil liberties, protesting, rioting, looting. On one hand, there has been an emphasis on enactment of more and more laws. On the other, there has been an impatience with the restraints imposed by strictures of the law. There has often been a willingness to resort to violent action and a forceful rejection of more plodding, more devious processes of the laws. This dichotomy in approach continues to plague law enforcement officials. Judge Learned in Hand, speaking of a roundup of vagrants and petty criminals by Governor Whalen when he was New York City Police Commissioner amid the general approval of such actions by the community leaders, pointed out that these worthy citizens would bridle at the thought that someone should be punished at an official without evidence of guilt. Said Judge Hand, they are loyal to our institutions in the abstract, but they do not take them too seriously in application. And more recently, another New York City Police Commissioner, Michael J. Murphy, complained that what the Supreme Court is doing is akin to requiring one boxer to fight by the Marquis of Queensberry rules while permitting the other to butt, gouge, and bite. One cannot help but be sympathetic with the commissioner's objective, yet the implications raise serious questions. Is he saying he would like the police not to have to obey the law in the process of enforcing it? The police, he believes, should have the right to use the same criminal methods to butt, gouge, and bite as the criminals from whom they seek to protect society. It does not take great reflection to understand that by permitting the police to use criminal tactics, we do not decrease the problem of crime in America. We increase it. No segment of the population, not the law enforcement, not even the chief of police can be permitted to flout this law. If the history of the 20th century has taught us anything, it should have hammered home the lesson that one does not create a more law-abiding community by encouraging those in authority to feel that they are above the law. Police work cannot be equated to totalitarian oppression, so devotion to constitutional principles is not equivalent to softness in crime. I'm going to stop there. I want to keep these short and sweet. I am obviously cherry-picking quotes, but I'm also cherry-picking the quotes that are relevant to what is happening right now. I'll be happy to share more. As always, peace.